It's happening. It's happening. They're all coming back. They're all coming back. Oh my god. I dreamed of days like this, man. And it 13 years. 13 long and agonizing years. And we are revisiting the Scott Pilgrim universe. Yes! In animated form, no less. That you couldn't have asked for a better direction. For a story like that, no offense to the live action movie. I love the live action movie. This is not a secret. I've talked about it for decades. And most nerds, most fans are in love with that movie. But let's all agree the medium they chose to do the Scott Pilgrim story probably didn't work for it, considering it was such a box office failure. And I'm not, there's so many factors to why it was a box office failure, but I think one of the main factors was that it was a live action adaptation of a comic book story that was very zany and wild, heavily inspired by video games and anime, and especially in 2010, that was not fully appreciated for the artistic achievement that it was. Oh my god, guys. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I woke up at like 4 something, and I saw, as I was scrolling through YouTube, because, usually when I wake up early in the morning, I check YouTube, I see Scott Pilgrim, the anime, cast announcement. And so I was wondering, who's the cast? Are they going to bring back any old favorites? Are they going to recast some characters? The fact that they got everyone. I mean, every single person from the movie back. They got Michael Cera, they got Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Brie Larson, Allison Pine, Chris Evans, Aubrey Plaza, Anna Kendrick. They even got Ellen Wong, who played Knives, to come back. I haven't seen Ellen Wong in anything in the past 13 years. And she said, yeah, I would love to play Knives Chow again. I don't know how they pulled that off, because maybe it's because people haven't casted her, because maybe, I don't know. Ellen Wong was such an underappreciated actress in the first Scott Pilgrim. I thought she was going to be big after that film, and then she ended up doing nothing. So now, that's probably one of the bigger tragedies of that movie, too. Not only that it failed, but some of the cast, they didn't get higher roles after the fact. But people like Brie Larson freaking blew up after Scott Pilgrim. I remember seeing her in Room and seeing her in 21 Jump Street. I'm like, ain't that the girl from Scott Pilgrim? It was like mind-boggling. Back to my point. This is probably the best news I've heard in a very long time. They are making a Scott Pilgrim anime. Again, the perfect medium to tell this story. I almost forgot. Jason Schwartzman is coming back as Gideon, number 7 himself. And what I'm excited for is I really hope they take their time to actually tell the Scott Pilgrim story properly. Again, I don't want to keep shitting on the movie or attacking the movie, but let's be fair, the movie missed out on a lot of golden opportunities for great storytelling. The twins story arc was not at all captured in the film. And that whole story arc, I think, was one of the best story arcs in Scott Pilgrim, because it had to deal with cheating, and it really tied in with both Scott's story and Ramona's story. And, you kind of get an understanding of who the twins are. I mean, in the movie, they're these silent, Japanese guys? They say not a single word, and then they get destroyed by a gigantic gorilla. Cool visual, but you wasted those characters. I want them to really explore Ramona's her lesbian phase. Get a sense of who number 4 was. We got a lot of it in the graphic novel, but we didn't get a lot of it in the movie. They play around with the concept and stuff like that, because she always says like, "Oh, my 7 evil ex is not my 7 evil ex boyfriends." So I want them to explore that. I want them to explore more of how Gideon controlled Ramona, which again, explored in the graphic novel. I want them to explore Scott Pilgrim's relationship with, Alison Pine's character's name is skipping, I'm blanking out on it, but I want them to explore his relationship with his past girlfriends. I want to definitely have them explore more of, oh man, Clash at Demon Head. I forget who the lead singer. I forgot some of these characters' names. I remember the actors that played them, but I don't remember their characters' names. How awkward. But I definitely want them to explore those characters. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be so good to see young Neil again. Young Neil was one of my favorite characters to just laugh at, so it'd be great to laugh at him again. So I see this as a golden opportunity for them to rectify some of the problems of the first film, the original film. While, yes, the original film really had an amazing style, it was way ahead of its time. It still missed a lot of marks. They really dropped the ball with the fourth X. They extremely dropped the ball with 5 and 6. They were just kind of rushing right through it. So hopefully they can give those characters some justice, and they picked some great people to voice those characters. I'm curious to see who is going to be the showrunner, who's the writer and the developers for this, because I know Edgar Wright is a executive producer. I know that the original creator, Brian Lee O'Malley, he's an executive producer, but I don't think he's helming the show. So I hope they pick a good team to bring this show to life. I hope the animation is not extremely cheap, because in order to tell this story, it needs to be fast-paced motion. It has to be high octane, over the top, wacky fun. But I think I have some hesitation now that I just sat back and reflected. I'm like, yeah, but Tony, think about Netflix animation. Especially Netflix animation. Okay, so maybe I might not be as hyped as before, but I'm hoping that I'm wrong in that regard. Overall, I'm just excited that they're trying to tell Scott Pilgrim's story again. I'm glad to see the original cast, all of them coming back and agreeing to come back. That's amazing. And the fact that it is an anime gives me hope, because again, a story like this being told using the anime conventions is it's a match made in heaven. It would work so perfectly for this story, And since video game movies and video game series have had kind of a renaissance lately. Oh, I'm wearing a Mario Bros. T-shirt, or a Suicide Squad themed Mario Bros. T-shirt. And the Mario Brothers movie's coming out. I know Dungeons and Dragons is coming out soon. And a lot of these, Last of Us, the TV series was amazing. So who knows, maybe we might be reaching a renaissance where we can actually give justice to video game based stories. Or at least video game inspired stories, as Scott Pilgrim was heavily influenced by video games. This is not a secret. The creator even mentioned he borrowed a lot of things from Legend of Zelda and all these other video games he loved to play. So overall, I'm delighted for this news. I am now just slightly worried and hesitant, because I didn't really sit to think about the fact that this is Netflix doing an animated series, which their track record's not been good. Don't give them a pass because it's Scott Pilgrim, guys. You know for a fact their animation has not been up to par for a lot of their series. Some better than others. For every Castlevania, you get like, what's that one about the cops? Like something PD that look like Dingleberry or Bingleberry or something. Or you get the Inside Job or something like that. Basically, these low-budgeted looking shows. And then for anime, for every, I want to say, shoot, what would be a good anime set? For every Baki that they did, you got Blood of Zeus or Dragon's Dogma. If you guys remember those shows. I know you probably don't remember them because everybody forgot and they were terrible. But for every good anime-based show like a Castlevania or a... I'm trying to think. There was that new one that came, Records of Ragnarok. For every Castlevania, Records of Ragnarok, you get shows like Blood of Zeus. You get Dragon's Dogma. You get that one crappy one. I totally blanked out. I remember trying watching it, and I'm like, man, this is awful. I'm not watching this anymore. So I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping for the best. I'm rooting for you, Netflix. Do not let me down on this, please. But anyway, what do you guys think about this news? Are you excited for it as well? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, so excited. Oh, I should also announce, starting probably tomorrow, every single day, I'll be releasing a new video leading up to my 30th birthday. Yep. I'm turning 30. I'm turning 30. And until then, guys, I'll see you soon. Peace, YouTube.